All right, this is the end of week 4. So, or maybe it's the end of week. No, it's the end of week 4. It's not the end of the month, but it's close to the end of the month. I guess the first week was really short. Or maybe that was the beginning, week 1. It's the end of week 3, really. Anyways, so from here on out, my goal is to have separate videos for different things. So like I've mentioned, the different categories. Each category is going to have their own little link. And so, like for instance, I will include a little bit of my pillow making. Video, but I will have a more extensive video including everything that goes into that. And some bakery stuff and anything that I want to be able to find easily. I guess that's the point, is that I don't want to have to look through this whole thing, well, like what I'm talking about now, to get to something very specific, because that's not the point of this, is to have a nice kind of catalog of different things. So and then in order to kind of keep this concise, is I want to have I need to really keep track of what I'm doing, because I sat down today and I'm like, all right, today's the day to make this video, or to wrap up the week. And I kind of just, everything was a little bit of a blur this week. A lot of stuff happened, but I couldn't really write down any kind of momentous occasions. So I need to keep track of that better. And then I'm going to have also things that I plan on doing, or upcoming things. It may not necessarily be this week, but things that I'm going to be working towards to keep myself on track. So let's get to that. So I started doing some videos at the bakery, but my battery life on my camera is so short that if I try to do any videotaping beforehand and don't recharge my battery, I only got like halfway through my making baguettes last Saturday. So tomorrow when I come in, I will finish that up. I also bought another battery so that I can plug it in, just in case battery, basically. Let's see what else. Pillow. That is actually turning out to be far more complicated than I thought. I have a pillow, but then I was like, well, now I need to test it, and I should document how well it's sleeping. So I have time-lapse videos of myself sleeping. My camera can only take 2 hours worth of that, so now I'm trying to figure out, well, how can I use the webcam on my laptop? Well, the lighting on that doesn't work, so everything's black. Everything's underexposed. I even tried having a light. That wasn't enough light, so maybe I have to come up with a different light. Thankfully, I sleep with a sleeping mask, so even though I'm going to be fully lit up, I guess, that way I can get a full 8 hours, or, you know, if I'm lucky, I get 8 hours of sleep, but I can have that whole amount. And at the same time, I've downloaded a sleep quality app on my phone. It's called Sleep Cycle, and so I'm testing that out as well to kind of to see how well I'm sleeping with this pillow. Plus I'm wanting to contrast it with my old pillow too. So I want time-lapse videos, and I want a sleep cycle. Like, am I going into deep sleep? Am I waking up a lot during the night? That sort of stuff, and just have more than just one day. I would like to have weeks of data on this. So eventually I will. I'm just working on my setup. So right now it's pretty rudimentary and only limited data, but hopefully as time goes by, that will get better. Plus, on a positive note in that area, I throw out these ideas to people at the bakery. So I get to see a lot of different people, customers, employees, that sort of stuff. So, and for the most part, they're like, "Oh my goodness, I spent $100 on a pillow," and it kind of has this flaw, and I'm like, well, my pillow addresses that. How about that? So like, I knew that I wasn't the only one that wanted a good pillow, but this, I think I'm addressing needs that people want to be addressed. And the one thing that I know will be an issue will be, oh my goodness, that is one ugly pillow. There's no way I'm putting that on. So that is an issue that I will be in the back of my mind of re-engineering how this whole thing works. So, but for me, I like it quite a bit, and I don't care what I look like when I go to sleep. I'm not looking at myself when I go to sleep. It's dark. I'm not walking out in public with this pillow strapped to my head, so it does look funny, I will agree. It's quite, I will show you some of the videos. It's pretty funny. So what else? Oh yeah, so about 3 months ago I had signed up for to be an actual user on the Mr. Money Mustache website, and because I wanted to put out a post or see if there were any posts out there for any meetups in the Lincoln area, and there wasn't. There was one person asking, hey, do you know of any meetups? And so I was like, hey, I haven't, and let's see what we can do. Didn't hear back until last week, and they were like, hey, sorry for the delay. I know there's one in Omaha. I'm on the mailing list. I've never been to one. And I said, okay, well, I don't know what'll come of it. This is me responding back, not just in my head. Let's just meet for coffee, chat, and see if anything, if it's worth meeting again. No response. So I think this person is somebody who likes to think about it, but doesn't actually like to do it. And from listening to other podcasts, similar podcasts or blogs like Bigger Pockets, people like to think about and listen to people that do real estate investing, but they don't do it. And so I'm not holding my breath for this person to respond. I think, if I remember correctly, the Omaha group meets the first Tuesday of every month. So I will confirm that before the end of this month, and because it is almost the end of this month, I will try. It will work out very well for me to go to a Tuesday night meetup in Omaha. So definitely want to check it out, because I want to just kind of see what do these people do, what is the format of it, and if it's worth me trying to start something here myself, I will. And so I want to connect with other people that have similar ideas, and maybe encourage them, they can encourage me, and that's kind of the whole point of this meeting, or the group that I would like to be involved in. Let's see here. So something I just made right before I started videotaping is, and this is a idea from a Tim Ferriss podcast, and it's the point of it, I think, is to really focus on, your brain can focus on good things, bad things, and if you're focusing more on the bad things, then you think your life is bad. Which there are plenty of good things, there are plenty of bad things. It's what you focus on and how you react to those things. So here is My awesome jar is awesome. My awesome jar is awesome. So, and just out of coincidence, awesome is twice repeated right in smack dab in the middle. So, the point of this is I will, every time something awesome happens, I stick it in the jar. And then when I think, oh boy, this is a rough day or something like that, I can always go back in, take out my little slips of paper, and I can say, oh wow, yeah, that was awesome. And I can be reminded how many awesome things do happen to me. And it will also encourage me, because I will want to put something in there. It will help me focus more on the good things that are happening, or maybe to interpret things that are maybe even not so good, but I can turn it into good. So that's the point of this. And hopefully, well, I don't know if this will need to be mentioned ever again, but I'm going to put this on the mantle of my fireplace. What else? Yeah, so stuff I've done. Now I'm painting my basement duplex, the basement apartment of my duplex, which is a huge step forward, at least visually. I've got 2 coats mostly everywhere. Now it's kind of getting into the detail stuff, the little stuff, which I will have to really try to not be a perfectionist, because let's face it, it's a rental and people are going to trash it or not care. So I should try to not care as much as possible. The other fun thing that I got to do, which I can put in my awesome jar, is that I got to try out the snowblower that I bought months ago at Menards. What a coincidence. And so it finally snowed enough to try that out a couple times. And actually I got to use it 4 times, because the first time I went out, especially here where I'm living, there's a parking lot space and all the cars were parked in. I did everywhere else, and then the cars happened to be gone the next day when I got back home, and I was like, well, let's go clear that out. So it makes a huge difference. Especially the first time it snowed, it was really heavy snow, and it would have broken my back, and I would have done maybe a quarter of what I actually cleared. So this just looks nicer, more professional, and I got to do other neighbors' sidewalks, and one guy even came out and shook my hand and thanked me. So it's like, it was actually fun to do. So I'm not going to mow his lawn. That's no fun. But I will snow blow his sidewalk. I think that is it for now. If I got everything on my list here. That's why I need to keep track of what I need to do, so my notes are more complete, so I don't have to go back or at least think about going back and saying, oh yeah, by the way, anyways, on to partial videos of kind of things that I did for this week. So, big shopping trip at Menards. Of course, I had to get my candy, chocolates. And so I've started running out of my staples. So I'm kind of having to stock back up, and now with Menards stuff. So I don't know, I'm trying some instant coffee here. I don't really drink that much coffee. I'm trying to drink tea. The previous one, some peanuts, gotta have peanuts. And look at this, who knew they had a little section. I was cutting my head too often with my old clippers, so I think it's time to spend what I would on one haircut to give me another 5 years of decent haircuts, or my own at-home haircuts. More peanuts. I don't know about this, we'll see. It's, since I don't have any vegetables right now, this is kind of what I was thinking. Oh, maybe I'll make some beans with it. And since they really don't have a lot of meat, got some sardines. So this week's gonna be pretty slim on the meat department. Maybe I'll go vegetarian a little bit more, which I do quite a bit anyways. And the good old beets. I got 3 cans of that. And then something with bread, apricot. Let's see what else. Oh, some pink salmon. So I guess that's a little bit more meat. I don't know, salmon casserole stuff. It's just to get me by. Now, these quart jars, I think I'm gonna use these for sprouting different smaller things. So like, that'd be another way of trying to get some extra nutrition in my diet, since I am kind of stuck with no fresh produce yet, because there's snow on the ground. It's like 12 degrees right now, so there's no gardening quite yet. But I have experimented with microgreens, and that will definitely be the way I'm going to be surviving no produce. And then I can obviously use those for canning later on. But here, so I think I bought some lettuce and some spinach seeds, and since it's so cold in here, I have the heating pad. I'm definitely not the only one thinking about gardening, because the section keeps growing little by little here over the last couple weeks, and people are picking out seed packets along with me. So, and then I got this guy. So this is what I'm going to show a little bit later. This is going to be probably do lettuce on one side and spinach on the other. And then who knows, maybe I'll start some seedlings eventually when it gets time to starting tomato plants or whatnot. Because I have seeds that I did get last year from M.I. Gardener. I have watched his channel, so he had some interesting heirloom varieties of different things that I would like to try out. So, with that being said, just wait a few minutes and I'll be back with hopefully my setup here to grow some vegetables, some greens, which I need, because even though these taste really good, they're not quite as nutritious